Give me doggone. Do not disturb for right now. Hey, Shalom. First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect, the house of David. Let's get into this. Doggone, this is back, getting back to my series, trying to do a series of, a reading, breakdown, you adding, adding what I know to the scriptures, according to doctrine and precepts, proper precepts, of Isaiah, Isaiah, I get, tomato, and I'm gonna make this a two-part. I'm gonna make this a two-part video because, what it goes into and stuff like that. So, let's get into it. I had one to, do it like day by day, but I said I'm gonna spread them out. Not only that, my schedule was kind of choppy this week, so it has my sleep schedule all thrown off, but we alright. Your bro Halak is alright. Apparatus, it cannot continue, but let's get into these scriptures. This is Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. The word of Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. That is the entire 12 tribes. Concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Because remember, we were split. That's why it's not saying, all of Israel, but, in the time it will say all of Israel. It's like you. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the tops of the mountains, and shall be exalted above all the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Now the mountains all represents governments, kingdoms, And it shall be, when it says it shall be exalted above the hills, those hills are what? All the, other, the small heathen nations, those heathen nations, those heathen nations. It was a specific word I was looking for. It kind of escaping me right now. But those heathen nations, what they got going on. And all the nations shall flow unto it. I'm flowing to who? Israel. 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 All the nations gonna come unto them. Why? Because first of all, they're gonna be seeking. Israel's gonna be the one who's dealing out the law. Who's gonna be the law? Who's gonna be the law keepers? In in a scriptural sense, but also like in authority. They're gonna be the authority in the earth. They're gonna be authority in the earth. They're gonna be the teachers in the authority. And the ones who are in authority. And the nation gonna come up to them trying to learn. Well, verse 3 says it gets into it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the Most High of Jacob, the power of Jacob, and he shall teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the word, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. You hear that? You hear that? You hear that? Like, the reason why they ain't gonna learn war anymore, they gonna have to beat their plowshares into pruning hooks because what? They been conquered. They been conquered. And who's gonna conquer them? Israel, because what? They gonna go up to Israel. They gonna go up to Jerusalem. You don't beat your plowshares, you don't beat your weapons, and go to someone you're not subservient to, you know? You know? Now we're finna jump back up. Cause I had one to read that. Well, I'm going to read verse 5. Then I'm gonna jump back up. O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Now jumping up back to verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountains of the Lord house shall be established in the tops of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And who was talking about? And who this was talking about? Judah and Jerusalem, Israel. And how are we going to be established? How are we going to be established? Because of those lost statute commandments. It's going to be put in us. It's when we, Abarazazah, when the hopeful elect gets those, when the elect, because they ain't going to be hopeful anymore, they're gonna be the elect. When the elect gets the new body. You know? Listen to this. Because that was just fulfilling what he had said. Let me read this one more time. This Isaiah chapter 2, verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. And the tops of the mountains shall be established above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Let's get this. Listen to this. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 and 2. Listen, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations on the earth. Above all who? Nations on the earth. You hear that? You hear that? That's if what? If we will observe and to do all his commandments. And we're unable to do that right now because what? This flesh, these chains of darkness. And as scripture says, if you break one law, if you offend one, roughly paraphrase, if you break or offend one law, you break or offend, all of them. You know, if you out there getting a line up, crispy ass line up all through your head sections, your beard, your back of your neck, your head, and all that. Well, you didn't broke multiple commandments. If you touch something a woman touched while she was on her cycle, you are unclean. And you're not supposed to go into the synagogue, your congregation. And if you got members out there, doggone, walking through Walmart, touching doors, touching buggies, touching at their workplace, touching the same place they sitting on, sitting the same place a woman on her cycle sitting on. Then they go to camp. Then they go to your gatherings and stuff like that. What? That's something you didn't broke. That's something you didn't broke. You know, you're not supposed to go into the sanctuary or your synagogue or sanctuary unclean. You know? You know? Like it's so many laws that we done broke in a damn weekly and then on a weekly basis that what we can't fulfill this until we what get them new bodies. Until we get them new bodies. You know? Verse 2, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. You know? When we get the new body, we'll be able to what? Keep all his commandments. And jumping down to verse 13. And the Lord shall make thee the head. You're going to be above all people, all nations, all powers. You know. And not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy power, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. You know? You know? We're going to get what I was talking about. Listen to this. This is Jeremiah chapter 31. Verse 33, listen. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of who? Israel. Listen, what is this covenant? After those days, what is day? What days? It's talking about the last days. And as I've been saying like a lot recently, every prophet has had a word or two on the last days. After those days, said the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. You know, listen, verse 34, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, said the Lord, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. You know? That's him giving us, taking away that stony heart and giving us a heart of flesh. You know? And once he do that, man, Israel's gonna be so doggone beautiful in every way. The beautification of Israel, you know? Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 2. And many people shall go and say, come you wait. Yeah. We're gonna jump to verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and he shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. What's this? And nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. These people have become what? Subject. These people have become subject to the power of Israel, to the power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, first and foremost, to the power of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. These people has become subject to the power of Yahweh and the prince and the king, the king, Yahweh Shai. You know, first and foremost. You know? Listen to this. We're going to go in Isaiah. This is Isaiah chapter 60. We're going to start from verse 10 and read down to 18. Listen. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath have I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gate shall be open continually, they shall not shut day nor night, that men bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For nations and kingdoms that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. That's what? This is what? When Israel is reigning over all the people. When Israel is reigning all the people, they ain't gonna have no choice. Cause what? They're gonna be subject to us. Subject to Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. The power of Yahweh and the rule of Yahweh Shai. You know? Verse 13, the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary. I will make the place of my feet glorious. You know, and it's talking about it's actually talking about it's talking about, you know, the actual place, but for you know, Jerusalem is a people, for it's a place. You know, all that stuff gonna be given to what? His men. His men. The first fruits. All that stuff. The trees, the fir tree, the pine tree, that's gonna be given to all his men. You know? And I will make the place of my feet glorious. What's the place of his feet? Earth is his what? His footstool. Earth is his footstool. It's talking about Jerusalem, but you know, the world, the earth, the whole earth is gonna be beautified again. Because what it says, what the fir tree said, it's that scripture that says about the fir tree that no fella has come up against me. You know, because these people, they cut down trees en masse to the point they will it's either they'll go extinct, or you know, they would they go extinct, or they're in very few number. You know, Esau take without rest. You know, Esau take without rest. Listen, verse 14, the sons also of them that afflict thee shall come bending unto thee. What? Bending unto thee. What is that? Bowing. People gonna learn how to bow. The whole world gonna be back on that bowing thing, not just over there in Asia, not just the Chinese, Japanese. Nah, the whole world's about to start bowing again. Shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the sole of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. They gonna be like, hey, y'all the glorious people. They ain't gonna be able to believe it. Or they gonna believe it when we, you know, when they get it. But right now they don't believe it. They don't believe it. When they do, they're gonna be in awe. You know, they gonna be in awe. You know? Verse 15, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal, excuse me, I don't know why I was tripping with that word. I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. They're going to be like, oh my God, is that a nah? Is that a nah? You know, is that a Baya? Is that a Badia? Is that a Zahab? you know, is that Yashawamba? Is that Yashawamba? Hey, y'all did great work. I can't believe y'all was them. Hey, it probably, for some people like, hey, I knew him. I knew him. I knew him. You know how people get. You know how people get. For many generations, you ain't gonna stop being glorified. Cause like these rappers in these world, these rappers, movie stars, actors, after a certain amount of years, they glory diminish. They glory diminish. You don't hear nobody talking about Nelly. You don't hear nobody talking about Nelly for real. You don't hear nobody talking about For Show. You don't hear nobody talking about all these all these people that had the fame but now are diminished. Nah, this is an everlasting glory. This is an everlasting crown. You know? Listen. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentile. Excuse me. Let me read that again. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and thou shalt suck the breast of kings. This is not, this is not little. This is just saying we're gonna be getting the riches of all these nations. All these nations, all the riches that these nations are gonna hold, they have hidden, or they have. All the silver, gold, fine things, pearls, linen, all those things that are excellent in the world, all that's going to be given to what? Given to who? The Israelites. The true Israelites, And thou shalt know that I, the Lord, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. You hear that? You hear that? For brass, I will bring gold. For iron, I will bring silver. For wood, brass, and for stones, iron. That's how much he gonna favor you, man. That's how much he gonna favor you. I will also make thy officers peace, and thy exactors righteousness. Listen, violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction with thy borders. Thou shalt call thy wall salvation, and the gates praise. Them the swords into plowshares and pruning hooks. Why? Because they have the power. Israel is now back in power. Israel is now beautified once again. Listen to this. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1 and 2. Listen, for the Lord, Lord in all caps is Yahweh, will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. These ain't saying, they gonna reign with us. Nah, this is not saying they gonna reign with us. The scriptures we just got previously tells them that they gonna be our subservient to us. They gonna be our slaves. They gonna be our help. And then verse 2 gets into it. Listen. And the people shall take them and bring them to their places, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall make them captives, who captives there were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This is what? Slavery. Yes, there will be slavery. Slavery in the kingdom of heaven. You see, every nation's going to be in the kingdom of heaven. There's just going to be different classes, In Israel, the so-called Negro, Native American, Latino, so-called Mexican, you know, so-called, or doggone everybody that, and all the all the Israelite that was scattered during the diaspora in these other nations that might look like the other nations, you know, though these people are gonna be the ruling power, the ruling family. While everybody else is gonna be all second and third class citizens. Not just on Earth, in entire creation, in a universe. You know. So hey, you hopeful elect, y'all got a lot of things coming to y'all. Y'all got a lot of things coming to y'all. So hold on, we almost home. And with that, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, the house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing, Shalom.